start stepping on stuff. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you with the camera. You guys, come on. Why are you attacking the camera? Come on. Lily Orchard is a gal on the internet. I don't know anything about Lily Orchard that much. I really don't. I know everybody else does. And I am intentionally teasing my way into learning more about this individual. I've heard the name like, 1,000 times, but I never really looked into it. I just legitimately don't know that much about him. Last time I covered Lily Orchard on stream was like a couple weeks ago. We looked at the Lily Orchard writing tips that people had sent me because I heard it was very funny. And it was hilarious, actually. I know tangentially some of the lore. No spoilers and no talking about the nasty shit in chat, please. God damn it. I got the boips. No talking about the nasty shit in chat. You guys don't need to reveal details or anything like that. I already kind of know, but we'll get into that stuff at a different time. I just want to keep this one less in need of a warning border because it's mostly about plagiarism, and that's really the main reason I wanted to cover it. I'm more interested, the lol cow shit is what it is, whatever, drama, but I'm more interested in the creative aspects and the critique aspects of who Lily Orchard is as a person. I'm very, very interested. Shit is incognito, and thank God. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know anything about Anthony Gramuglia at all. And that's not like, an insult. I just literally don't know anything about him other than Lily Orchard accused him of plagiarism, according to him, in the title of this video. And we're going to start popping off with this right now. So get your popcorn, folks. We're going to watch a video.
All right. No script today. No fancy introduction. You saw the title. You know where we're going with this one. Lily Orchard has accused me of plagiarism. Despite the fact that
this is a Bob's Burger character. This is the most Bob's Burger character guy I've ever seen. If there's a fucking Bob's Burger producer, writer, animator that watches shit on YouTube and they see this guy, you are going to see this replicated at some point on that show. Homie is a Bob's Burger character, with all due respect. I like that show. It's a good show. It's a very good show.
Being absolutely no evidence for this whatsoever. Actually, let's just back up a second here. In the last 24 hours, there's been a coordinated effort, or maybe a loosely coordinated, who actually knows, to sabotage my channel by one Lily Orchard. Now, Lily, of course, I've made 2 videos about, and a couple of responses to her attempts to silence me, and some reaction streams. Lily Orchard, in this past July, I think it was, filed copyright strikes against 5 of my streams, claiming I stole her content, and that 100% of my streams were her stolen content. When I contested this, she relented and my video came back up. Now Lily is back with some new accusations against me that I think are worth actually discussing. Now, I've ignored most of what Lily has said. She posts about me about 15 times a day, and I usually respond to maybe one of them every couple of weeks, if I skip. The reality is simply in the last 24 hours has been a new level to what she's doing that has escalated matters to the point where I need to respond. It started with an email sent to multiple big-name YouTubers last night. The email in question, which I will show on screen right now, but with the redaction of the sender as well as the YouTubers sent this message, because I don't want to get them involved. It's not their business. They're just being dragged into an argument that's not really relevant to them. In case that flashed on screen too fast, I am going to take the time to read some of the letter to you right now. Dear YouTube entrepreneurs, I am writing this letter to you in order to speak against the actions of an upcoming YouTube media critic, Anthony Gramuglia. He, alongside his newly found friends, Psy Scribbles, she/her, and Crimson Ender, he/they, have been organizing what now qualifies as a harassment campaign. I just want to point out that Crimson Ender's pronouns are not he/they. That would be misgendering, but I digress. Ever since Hiding in Private's 3-hour response video has inspired them to have their own take on the matter, The trend that followed quickly stopped being the matter of criticism. I've tried to mitigate between them and minimize the damage done. My efforts were futile. Maybe you can steer him the right way. He looks up to you. He buddies with you. He commissions artwork. Proof it's no longer criticism. The creator affected by the harassment I am not expecting you to like or respect. On Tumblr, there are now at least 70 individual blogs dedicated to dunking on her. Several named just like her. The size is on par with has-been hotel critics, sick, and is interacting with them daily. Sai is very happy to use any incriminating evidence against Lily, like Patreon-exclusive audio leaked by Kiwi Farms.
Verbal abuse doesn't affect me. I've been verbally abused almost constantly for like 25 years of my life. It does affect you. It does affect your self-worth. Getting a torrent of...
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. You have said worse things about me than I have about you, Lily. At least I criticize things you actually do.
Almost constant vicious hate mail and slanderous YouTube videos and people...
So, okay, you could just...
I resent that. It's not slander. When it's in a YouTube video, it's libel. When it's in a YouTube video, it's libel.
Like, delete emails.
Hey, wait, am I actually almost old enough to hit a fucking J. Jonah? I resent that. I resent that accusation. When it's in a YouTube video, it's libel.
Like... I don't think my YouTube videos are slanderous. I respond to the things you say.
For Ant, it is acceptable behavior. Bear in mind,
There's
every
no treat
stream
there,
clip you
you
see
got
from Lily
tricked.
was 99.9% is from the copy archived by...
If you guys appreciate this little bunny that's begging for a treat, he doesn't get one until we get to 100 on the treat meter. So you can always donate any super chats, any donated gifted subs on Twitch or YouTube. Go to the bunny meter. He gets a little treat.
Kiwi Farms, like the one used in Ant's video at 9 minutes. An artist once issued a takedown notice for one of her videos, and she fought it.
The first time, in true YouTube fashion, they go, oh, well, you know, we're unsure, so, like, we're not gonna forward it, but you can resubmit it if you want. So this time I just put in, I am prepared to go to court.
Oh.
And if they do this again, I will resubmit it again and go, if you do not submit if my video is not reinstated, I will take all of your asses to court. Because in general, I've been able to tolerate the YouTube copyright,
I'm so sorry, Anthony. I've been caught. I'm so sorry. Look away from me. I was hiding my shame. Said in love, you have a lot of character to your voice, is what it is. You have a lot of character to your voice and a good presence and like Bob's Burgers style glasses. That's it. Thank you for the $5, Anthony Gramuglia. LOL. Bob's Burger character. Never heard that before. Actually, pretty funny. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna pop through this though, but if I get through here, or if you are in and out and you want to offer any corrections or anything, please feel free to reach out and chat, or I can make some time for you at some point. Thank you for stopping by. I got caught.
lunacy until YouTube started randomly deciding not to forward counter notifications.
Bring it on.
Oh, yeah.
And ever since people realized that they can just submit counter notifications and 100% of the time they'll get their videos back, YouTube's actually made deals with certain corporations to just not forward counter notifications. In those circumstances, you just flat out can't counter notify. But I highly doubt YouTube has a deal with some random nobody who, if their art had been used in a context like positive, we wouldn't have heard jack shit. It's because it was used in a negative context.
Yes, Lily. It's strange how when your art was used in a negative context, you started copyright claiming people all of a sudden. Strange, then you did the same thing to a smaller artist when they argued that you used their art without crediting them. She's very clearly aware then the consequences of maybe a little a superfluous flag, and she herself at the time said she'd take it to the court systems. Well, in this situation, Lily, if you try to take down one of my videos, I will respond as need be.
Yeah.
Here's Sai encouraging harassment on her stream. It just goes on to list a bunch.
That's pretty straightforward. Yeah. This is the thing. I think I kind of have a grasp of what Lily was trying to argue in that last one, and it's you haven't pushed for copyright stuff on me before, but now you're doing it because of like the negativity. Blah 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 blah. Here's the sort of issue. Okay, a lot of YouTubers don't understand, or they do and don't care. It's a mix. But basically, if you use somebody's stuff, no matter what it is, and they make it, and it's their original IP, you have very likely violated their copyright, right? If I technically right now, quite literally, I am violating to some degree Anthony's copyright. Not in a bad way, really, and you can make the argument for fair use. Fair use is not a justification, it's like an argument you have to make, right? That's a thing that you prove, okay? And in the general pursuit of open conversation, it's a gentleman's agreement or gentlefolks agreement between everybody to not try to smash everyone else over fair use. So like even Fox News and CNN, who fucking hate each other, will run each other's clips with credits and not try to take it all into the weeds into fair use. Because fair use isn't something you just say and then get to do. It's something you have to defend, okay? So like I'm using Anthony Gramuglia's content right now to make money off of Anthony Gramuglia. But, you know, and if he wanted to say, I don't think you used it in a fair use context, I want to take this up, he has that right because it's first and foremost his content, okay? So with that in mind, what you generally do is everyone says, okay, I'm not going to fucking smash you over the head. You're not going to smash me over the head. We could make this into a big pain in the ass thing, litigate every single use, but ultimately it would be bad for all of us. Bigger people would get hit by tons of small people. Small people could get blasted by big people. It's better to not do it. And when you pass the fair use boundary, which is usually pretty obvious, you know, just raw, like I'm going to use Mickey Mouse as my avatar, or I'm just going to play, you know, non-transformative clips of like Looney Tunes videos or something like that. Obviously, you know, it's a completely different thing. But here's the issue. Once you've done two things, if you break that agreement, and then you start doing copyright claims on stuff that maybe you have almost a sort of okay, right? But it's in the same vein as how everyone else in your area is using them. You haven't broken anything other than a social contract, right? So there's not really a repercussion for you in the legal sense, but in the ethical sense, the impressive sense, basically, or the impression that it creates on everyone else is that, okay, if you're not going to follow that rule, I'm not going to follow that rule for you, because then you've created the unfair playing field by basically cheating. You've tried to metagame this agreement that we all had. And so now it's like, yeah, well, you never hit me when it was positive, or like people didn't know, but yeah, but you fucking opened the door. And so now anyone that's irritated by you can go and attack you in that same way. That's the thing. That's why we all keep our hands clean and try not to go down in the mud on those sort of things, because it opens up a really, really shitty kind of back and forth. You kind of change the meta of how you interact with other creators in a bad way, which is why you just don't do that unless it's like serious. You know what I mean? I've said like I would copyright claim somebody that just did a fucking full read through raw of my book instead of doing like a review, because that's fucking like literal hours of content based on just taking my content. That's not good. Things like archives are kind of iffy, because if you re-upload someone else's content and they don't want you to have it re-uploaded, that is literally just a violation of copyright. And I really can't stand on your side for that. But when you kind of get down into commentary and talking about people and being critical of them, then yeah, like you're in a situation where you fucked up. You know what I mean? And if you have opened that door and you copyright claim somebody, you don't have a leg to stand on now, because you have to appeal to the community. The community polices it, not YouTube or any other authority. The community is going to say, wow, you really overstepped. I'm going to break ties with you. I don't want to work with you, this, that, and the other, because they wronged you in the sort of, you know, in the politics of the immediate sphere that you exist in. Once you've done that, it's hard to close that box. It's the same thing. And I actually said I was too harsh about this with Dead Domain, overall, but like it's when I was trying to bring up in that video, it's like you're playing risky when you do something like start calling for maybe brigading against somebody. We all kind of accept that that's not good to do, And once you open the door, it's very difficult to close it. If I'm kind of hitting on it here, hopefully I'm in the ballpark of being correct, but we'll figure it out. But that's just the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that most of the time during YouTube stuff, if you're talking about other YouTubers, you are actually infringing on their copyright. You have to make the argument that it's fair use. But generally, we don't force that from each other because it's very easy to kind of lose track of where the line is in all the gray. It doesn't benefit a lot of people, and it starts up like little shitty fucking talks. But when people really, really do it, or when people abuse it, then you kind of have to start getting in there and saying like, no, this is where the line has to be drawn, and this, that, and the other. Called me out to my face. You're my favorite one about it because you actually like Kill Mickey Mouse draws Mickey Mouse all the time, but he's like, I'm not actually doing it because the official Mickey Mouse always has the two circle shapes on the ears in the exact same position, no matter how you're looking at it. Mine is photorealistic, which is why it's scarier.
A bunch of accusations, all of which are just clips of publicly available YouTube clips that I can show you, all of which are pretty innocuous, really. So I ask you...
Isn't Mickey Mouse public domain now? Not Mickey Mouse. Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie is a different character, sort of. Mickey Mouse is the official trademarked mascot of the Walt Disney Corporation that looks extremely similar to the character he was based on, Steamboat Willie, right? Or whatever the fuck, the Steamboat Willie Mouse. That's a whole like thing. And you can draw Mickey Mouse all the time, or you can draw like a little mouse and stuff. They'll probably fuck with you just to keep you from fucking infringing on their trademark, because that's an entirely different thing. But you also have to draw the Mickey the same way that they do. So their trademark has a list of specificity, like this is what our trademark is. And it's the shapes, the shape of the ear, the usage, the way that the words are there. I think even Disney has a trademark on writing out Disney in the Disney font. And I think maybe even they have a trademark on the Disney font. So that's a very complicated thing that they intentionally additionally complicate to protect their asset.
Lily, so what if she's a bitch? So what if she's a lousy critic? So what if she doesn't take criticism? So what if she hates Rocky Horror? So what if she's writing Mary Sue's at 30? Does that excuse their behavior? Were this to happen to any Fox News commentator, even you would agree that this took too far. And we're talking about the individual with the third longest thread on Kiwi Farms. I'm not going to get into that. Ant might hate Kiwi Farms, but their videos have so far earned their respect. Whatever criticism they have, considering the form it takes, it ain't worth it. I also, and it goes on to discuss Lily Orchard's accusations by Courtney. It takes up about half the email. These particular accusations were very illogical, based on conspiratorial kind of nonsense. In fact, one implied there was a conspiracy of us ganging up on people because one person commissioned an avatar from another person. It's a lot of nonsense and a lot of real extrapolation. One of the YouTubers emailed, forwarded it to me, said, hey, this is someone stalking you. This is kind of ridiculous. I've reached out to many of the people who messaged, and we discussed it. No one takes this message seriously. The email itself is kind of irrelevant. The email's intent is more interesting to me and more disturbing to me. Now, I do not believe Lily actually sent this email. I think it was a fan. The email is from a Polish address, and we have reason to maybe believe it's one or two trolls who frequent our comment section on streams. But the reality simply is that this was a clear attempt to sabotage working relationships with other YouTubers in my niche. Mm-hmm. Some YouTubers fairly substantial. Most, I don't think a single one of them had less than 100,000 subs. These are fairly sizable YouTubers who I look up to, and some of them I have a working relationship with, some of which I'm mutuals with online. So clearly it was an attempt to sabotage my relationship with other YouTubers, which is something that would be not very good for my channel.
Yeah, this is actually legitimately I think it's called this is a type of libel that's actually like the specific bad kind you're not supposed to do. So like libel is like libel. Okay. For anyone out there, libel is when you make an incorrect statement with the intention of causing material harm to somebody's career or reputation that causes damages, right? And is false. That is a whole thing. And then it's also in when a record is created, there is a subtype of it that is this specifically. And I think it's that because it is covered in specific case law. I'd have to look all this shit up. If you're a lawyer out there and you know what I'm talking about, I might be mixing it up with something else. But like literally, this is the worst way to do libel. Libeling somebody, like if I do it off my channel, right? I say something completely fabricated with the intention to hurt somebody, and you can't wipe it off as a joke, and it actually causes material harm and damages. Sorry. Whew. Then like that's libel, but it's really easy to fight. When you actually constrict the audience that you get into the libel with to professional acquaintances of an individual, that's an entirely different little subsection of it. That's actually the way worse one to do, because you can't ignore the actual connection. I'm not saying like Ant should fucking sue people or anything like that, but just understand this is incredibly, if you were ever considering doing this is incredibly dangerous to you monetarily, because it is infinitely easier to argue the actual malicious actor or whatever the fuck it is, the malicious intent of it, actual malice. It's way easier to argue the actual malice when you've bypassed the audience and you've gone to professional acquaintances. You can just literally say they tried to or did put at risk or did damage not just my personal reputation, but my personal my personal reputation on a professional level that's going to cause me monetary harm. You can, in certain cases with libel, argue for, I believe, I might be wrong, this is one of the ones that would have to have a lawyer completely jump in, but projected losses. You can't usually always do that when it's something as like, kind of all over the place as an audience, specifically that person's audience. But when it's between companies, the projected possible losses is actually way easier to prove because you have their audience or their stuff. So if I like made there's a guy who works for Coca-Cola, okay, or an advertising firm, and he advertises for Coke, and he doesn't advertise for like 4 other things. And I say, I write in a letter, hey, I don't know if you know this, but this guy failed the Coke account, and he did all of these things to like damage the Coca-Cola brand. And then I send that letter to Coca-Cola and then to like 3 other organizations that he would like cover that are also as big as Coke. Okay. When I do that, I have put myself in a position to, first off, annihilate this person's career intentionally, but also it's not me talking about him, to an audience of millions who may or may not understand what I'm talking. I'm literally attacking clear professional connections. And then what you're going to lose is so fucking clear cut, because you're going to lose possibly projected loss of 3 corporations. You damaged my possible future connection with these 3 corporations by sending the letter to them as well. And so it's way easier to prove damages and way easier to prove actual malice in that case. So you did the worst possible way, basically, of doing this, aside from like just, I don't know, doing something and going to a judge and say like, I did it, that is, I swear to God, that's covered in a bit of case law that I remember from college, but that's like, don't ever do that. It's like the poison pill type or whatever the fuck it's called. It is the worst thing to do, is to go behind people's back and have like direct conversations with professional connections in order to slander or libel them. Because if you put it in record as libel, you have the record. They can, even if other people I don't know who he sent this letter to, you know what I mean? It's very, very dangerous. And it, first off, highly unethical and illegal in certain contexts. And if you're overseas where you don't have the First Amendment protections that you have in America, you could probably get fucking obliterated for this shit.
Thankfully.
So wait, so which party has to prove the potential damages? The person that is the plaintiff has to prove the potential damages, right? So like If somebody accuses me of something, right, libels me, okay, kid not kin, okay. If he had never put out that video where he says, next time I'm going to accuse you of pedophilia, right? I'm going to edit a video to make pedophilia on you. Imagine he hadn't done that. We'll take that off the table. Bloop. Okay. He makes a video accusing me of CP possession. All right. And it's very, very convincing, but it's wrong. Okay. It actually causes me a bunch of a bunch of commercial grief. You know what I mean? And we both have to live in America for this to even work. It causes me a big hit to my finances. I have a loss of subscriber numbers and stuff. Okay. I can say I think that these are my damages. All right. I think he made me lose all of these subscribers and stuff and because I have that number that it's there. You know, if I don't have that kind of number and I can't connect, his video came out here and then this day I had a giant drop in subscribers and then you can see the drop in money. I had that giant drop. I was going in this direction and then he released this libelous video on me and it seriously damaged my income. And that was the only person that released a video on me that day. I hadn't done anything else in that 48 hour period that would have caused such a thing. I believe that he's caused damages in that case. That's the damages. If you add in that little bit right there, that's actual malice. If you don't have something that's on the internet that creates a fucking daily record of stuff, then it's going to be harder. So if I was outside, right? I'm a newspaper reporter again, okay? And then I write a story about this teacher, I don't know, this teacher throws fireworks at their students every day to keep them awake in class. Something crazy like that. It's a lie, right? But the everyone's like, that's so stupid, I don't believe it, okay? But it's untrue. Hopefully I get fired from the newspaper in that case. The teacher is going to say okay, well, you've caused me damages, but the teacher kept their job. Everybody thought it was ridiculous. It was absurd. A judge might tell me you need to fucking never do that again, but the loss of your job's probably okay. The teacher would still have to prove that there was some sort of monetary damage that was done to them, or reputational damage that can be equivalent to something that can be returned, something that can be recovered, because that's really what you're asking. It's usually for money. In civil cases are almost always about property and money, and all property can be liquidated into a monetary form when you sort of write it out. So, you lost me these three things, but when you look at them as line items, they are $30, $50, $100, $150. And that's what I really think I lost. Those are projected losses on physical items. And then, in certain circumstances, reputational loss for somebody that's an entertainer or something, you can say I lost these contracts, I lost this, I lost that. You permanently damaged this, that, and the other. And you can add that in too. And then you have to prove it as the plaintiff that has taken that person to court for libel, okay? And like I said, again and again and again, check out lawyers for all of this stuff. And if you're not in America, and if you're not even specifically in certain districts, it could be completely different or so subtly different that it goes off in a way that will end up significantly apart from what was originally discussed. But in that case, if I made that story and the teacher actually got shit canned, kicked out of the district, and then it took a couple months to come out that you made up that story. The teacher wasn't even throwing the fireworks, but the teacher was fired and kicked out of the district and lost their teaching license. Now the teacher can say, this article came out on me. I was kicked out of the district. I lost my teaching license and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Still have to prove actual malice and stuff and all that and prove that I knew that it was false and a few other things on top of it in our country. In other countries, you don't even have to do most of all that. But that's what you have to prove as the plaintiff. Sorry for getting in here.
Everyone involved had a good laugh about it and no one took it too seriously.
I will also say that some of the people emailed significant figures in the left-wing video essayist community. I'm really sorry this happened to you, by the way. The biggest user had over 600,000 subs. My God. So, Lily Allen just really tried to fucking get your ass. I'm not going to file a copyright strike against someone offering commentary, even negative commentary. I don't care either way. No, I don't really give a shit about somebody talking about me. The only thing I would ever care about is somebody stealing things that aren't particularly good. If somebody just starts re-uploading all of my videos that I'm still making money and not doing anything transformative, I'll crack that because stop. What the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? But otherwise, I don't really care. No, you can say anything you want
Seriously.
about me. I don't mind.
What I find more concerning is the list of Tumblr blogs that they listed in the email. These, I think, over 70 blogs they associated with some big movement against Lily Orchard. These 70 blogs are being stalked and harassed by Lily's fans, and most likely this information is being shared with Lily, which implies that they are keeping track of every single person critical of Lily, even if they're a small, tiny Tumblr user with like 100 followers, if that.
Who does this sound like?
Meticulous, and it is deeply disturbing because this implies that if you've ever criticized Lily once online, Lily or her fans are cataloging it and keeping track of you. That I find deeply disturbing, but not as disturbing as Lily's recent accusations against me on a recent live stream, which again happened fairly recently. During this live stream, Lily can be seen editing her upcoming video, in which she responds to both myself and Crimson Ender, which is, you know, whatever. Who cares? I don't really care if she responds to my media takes. In fact, I think I encourage anyone to criticize my media takes in general. I think it's interesting and fun to discuss media. But it's her accusations while editing, outside of the video itself, that I find concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Two of Twitter's biggest cockroaches, Crimson Ender and Anthony Gramuglia, rose to the occasion and offered 50 examples.
Is it? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but is it Anthony Gramuglia or Gramuglia? Gramuglia. I don't know. I can't even replicate that.
In mind, this discussion was about villains who had a point being done well, which meant that, one, the villain had...
The second G is silent, though.
Okay.
I don't care.
They answered it.
Like, okay, here's the
Gramuglia.
thing.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
are you correcting me on how to pronounce the name of an absolute cocksucker?
Fucking prick. How are you? It's like, where did that dude, I fucking got rolled through that entire subsection. Gramuglia, like I never even fucking never heard of that. Gramuglia, right? The second G is silent. You're gonna fucking tell me how to pronounce your name?
Like, why? Why are you bothering with that? Who gives a shit?
Real cheese rolling silence like Gramuglia.
We all know the actually urge is very strong for some people.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Just like calling you orchid is wrong, that's my my take on the matter. See, there's the difference, though. You see,
Oh my god.
these guys are bigots, and I'm not. I'm a firm believer in turnabout is fair play.
I firmly believe that this is worth discussing and worth analyzing because in this live stream, she recently accused me of plagiarizing most of my work. Not simply my YouTube work, but my writing work.
Ooh.
You have to wonder, like, how the fuck did this guy end up as, like, a writer for a literary website? Of course,
Gramuglia.
we know how. He stole most of his work from other people.
Then there's Long John Silver.
I have been writing in some form online since 2017 for various publications. And to accuse someone of having most of their writing being plagiarized for multiple jobs, multiple positions over the course of nearly a decade, that's kind of a substantial accusation. Of course, Lily provides no evidence for this, so it's not a serious accusation whatsoever. In her accusation of me plagiarizing, she doesn't provide a single example of me plagiarizing outside of plagiarizing a specific video. The We Are Not Dead / The Dire Gentleman's response to Lily Orchard's 100 writing tips. We Are Not Alive, of course.
I'm listening to what Anthony is saying right now. I'm still shocked. I react, if you're new to the fucking stream, I react to shocking things by laughing them off. It's not like I'm happy about it. I can't believe she said that. I'm fucking beside myself. Like, as I'm still chuckling, I'm like fucking stuck in that moment from a little bit ago. Like, what? I tell you again, if you're just starting to pop in, or you're coming, I don't know that much about Lily Orchard. This is the second time I've ever seen a Lily Orchard video or even done anything, interacted with. So I don't know anything about that entire subsection. But fuck me, man. God damn.
I made a video about those writing tips. They're commented on the video, both before it was released and after it was released, and it seemed very happy for me shouting them out in the video. Now, here's what I find very funny, Lily. How could I have plagiarized this 4 or 5 year old video if I had no script? The entire video I made was off the cuff. It was improvised. I made up as I went along. Furthermore, I referenced things that happened after that video was released, including videos that were released the week I posted the video. I was recording that video the week it came out. Improvising, responding to new things that you had posted that week. How can the whole video be plagiarized if I'm responding to multiple things you said long after your initial writing tips were published and long after the video you claimed I plagiarized in its totality was released? Furthermore, you are invited to watch both side by side. In fact, I encourage you to watch both side by side, or both individually. They're both really good videos, to see where potentially our opinions are intersected. In fact, I encourage it, because I think with the division of our opinions is what makes both videos so interesting as a set. How can it be plagiarism if there's such different topics and different examples cited? Well, the simple reality is I don't think she's watched the video. I think she's just throwing accusations out because it's what she does. Back in July, she claimed I was stealing her content for her streams, where I reacted to her videos. Now, of course, I reacted to a 20-minute video. And
so you struck 3 videos, though? Do you not know how this works? Multiple takedowns in a single day from a single rights holder doesn't get you taken down. You only get 1 strike when that happens, specifically to prevent the issue of rights holder discovered long-term copyright infringement. Oops, your channel is now completely dead. You can't get a channel taken down on your own unless you space it out over multiple weeks, and even then a strike only stays on your account for 3 months. I'm not going to kill Ant by removing their theft in 1 day. It's impossible. I'd have to conspire with the other people he's stolen from to do that. Source, I'm a YouTuber, and dealing with copyright takedowns and content ID is part of the job. I feel like that's weirdly close to a statement of intent. That oh my God. That's I didn't. But I'll tell you, this is exactly what I would do if I wanted to. And not like I would never do that because it would be unethical in this situation. Just like, no, me as a person with a large profile and a shitload of little fucking underlings creeping around, like, we do have the ability to do this. So,
it's where I reacted to her videos. Now, of course,
she struck 5 videos,
a 20-minute video and a 3-hour video with about a 30-minute introduction, commentary throughout, pausing the video. No theft there, just a reaction. She claimed I showed her entire Pokemon review video in each of the 3 Pokemon streams that she copyright struck. Well, that's impossible. How can I watch the same video in its totality 3 times when the video was twice as long as each of those individual streams? It's just not possible. Are you saying that you have ownership over my face, over my room, when I showed my bookshelf? Is that what you're saying? Hard to say. And furthermore, going back into my writing career, are you accusing me of plagiarism for that? Well, that's harder to say, but I do know for a fact that you do accuse me of plagiarizing in those instances, because you're saying most of my work. Furthermore, you implied that I was fired from my feminist writing job for misogyny, you claimed.
If you clearly haven't even seen that fucking movie, why would you even know the character's name?
Clearly.
Remember, this guy presumably works for a feminist publication.
How would you know a character's name if you haven't seen a movie? They're like in the trailers, right? In the description of the film. Like, how do you know any of the characters in a book if you haven't read it? Well, if you turn the book over and look at the back of it, you might figure it out. Like, who did you know there's a character named Aladdin in the movie Aladdin? Fucking nuts. Did you know there's a Little Mermaid in the movie The Little Mermaid? Like, what is this? What is this? What is that argument? That's so bizarre. That's like antithetical to knowledge.
On top of that, they let They let this fucking basement dweller work at a feminist publication. Actually, wait, no, I think he got fired from that.
Yes, he did get fired.
I wonder what specifically caused it.
From what I heard through the grapevine, misogyny.
Something you heard through the grapevine.
Oh,
Now,
many people are saying this. I've heard it. A lot of people are saying he got fired. He was a disgraceful misogynist. They let him go. They kicked him right out of the door. They said, no more, not here. Big if true. Anthony Gramuglia got big if true by Lily Orchard.
the reality is that I freelance wrote for various websites for several years. According to the website Muckrack, which tracks publications by journalists and freelance journalists, I have about 1,439 articles written under my byline.
God damn.
The more recent ones you see there are older articles that have been...
Fucking former full-time journalist to apparently pretty that's a solid byline count for fucking anybody. Most people, that's how many tweets they can even put out. God damn. Solid.
Written by new writers at CBR, a practice that I find very problematic, but I can go into CBR's issues another time. Regardless, 1,439 articles. That's a lot of material that you think I plagiarized, Lily. I think it's time for you to start reading. At a certain point, I decided that I wanted to
got her with the rant Sona zoom in. I like that.
Move into doing YouTube. There's just no physical way I could write an article every week and do a video every week. There's just no time. So I had to put one aside. I put myself in front of the camera, and I put the freelance writing behind me. I still used all the skills I used in that career in writing these scripts. Fast turnaround, and attention to detail, articulation. But about a year ago, I stepped away. Left on good terms. I'm still friendly with almost all my editors, and the ones I'm not friendly with, I just didn't keep in contact with. No bad blood anywhere. Your accusation requires proof that I was fired from anywhere. And quite frankly, I was never fired from any position for bad behavior or poor work conduct or anything like that. The reality simply is that you are making something up and using rumors you probably started, to justify it. And that's damaging to a person's reputation, especially as they're building a platform on a place like YouTube. You know? You're using tactics that have been used in the past to, I don't want to say the word cancel, because cancel culture, I think, is a bit of a misconstruing of anything. But you're using various tactics to damage my reputation, both among audiences and among my peers. Now, thankfully, I don't think my audience or my peers take this all very seriously. They know who you are. You know, your reputation is in the gutter. But let's take a second here for a second. You accused me of, what was it, plagiarism, was it?
I think so. Also, he might go in this direction, but I gotta fucking pause this and have some commentary. I'm just enthralled. I'm just like listening at this point. I'm along for the ride. I'm kind of on your side on this one. I think one of the major issues here too, though, is the sort of stacking up of stuff that will go past your peer group and your audience group and may poison your reputation in audience pools that you haven't interacted with, which is a really common occurrence on YouTube. It's usually what people are going for. It's fucking whole the guy that my version of Lily Orchard is always trying to do to me, you know, paint me in a bad light, literally libeling me, slandering me again and again and again and again. I could, but I don't really care. Probably push something against that, but it is what it is. That's the point, and it's kind of the same thing. Completely fucking irrelevant, and not a very good reputation amongst people. About to be a very soon to be even more ruined reputation. But the point of it is also to not just to slander you in front of your own audience, and maybe not just him, but like when you see this out in the world, if you ever see like serious criticism of somebody, make sure that you double check who the criticism is coming from and that it does feel evidenced. You know what I mean? That's the thing to really learn from a video like this, because what somebody like Lily Orchard is going to be trying to do in this case, or any other individual that's doing the same thing, is to not just fuck you up with what you have, but really what you could get down the line. They want name searches for you to be poisoned against you, right? They want people to try to look you up and then have to get the first say on who you are as an individual. And YouTube doesn't do a very good job of modulating that sort of content, and it can recommend it, you know, ahead of time. And usually it doesn't really like have that much of an impact. But if you really think about it, how many times have you heard or said as a chatter or a viewer, maybe even a small creator, you know, I thought this thing about you, and it seemed like everything was this thing about you, and then I actually interacted with you, and my interpretation was completely different. I was in this community for a long time, and every time I was interacting, I heard about you, this creator, that creator. I thought that they were insane or horrible or misogynist or racist, and then I had to look into it, and I found out they weren't. That's the real problem long term with this sort of stuff, is these videos do stay up, and these individuals that launch these fucking mass harassment campaigns, what they're really trying to do is get between you and new viewers, or your reputation and new viewers, and paint you before they can, because it's always harder to undo a preconception than it is to modulate one into the or than it is to create one. So like, you know, if you go in, somebody's like, I actually have a good one of my chatters, Hacker Droid, I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but it's pretty innocuous, and he's shared on stream chat all the time. They're a memer in my Discord right now, and they said like they came from like the Vosh Cord area, you know what I mean? And there's no harm in that. You can go back. I don't care. People trade communities. But when he first interacted with me, he was like, I don't really fucking like this guy. And he's like, I did some like introspection in my head, and I realized I just didn't like Tyler because he disagreed with Vosh, and he had like a square jaw, and I felt like because I've been poisoned against traditional male like features for some reason in that community, that like he had to be like a fascist. And it's like, and he's like, it sounds crazy now to think about it. Extrapolate that out, that's just kind of like, you know, mealy mouthing in a sort of community, and creating, you know, a negative response pattern to certain features. Imagine now you're a person that the first time you've ever been introduced to Anthony Gramuglia was through someone else that you don't know. You also don't know Lily Orchard. I don't know Lily Orchard. Like I said, this is my second Lily Orchard video. I have to check her out. Maybe Anthony is highly unreasonable and sociopathic, and this is the best 7D chess fucking move I've ever seen in my life to slander her. I don't think it's the case. But I don't know her. If I don't know her and her reputation doesn't precede her with me, and she's like, hey, this fella, fucking Ant Gramuglia, is a plagiarizing, misogynist freak, blah, 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 and here's all this evidence that I'm going to give you. I have a pretty strong resistance to fucking bullshit and bad evidence, but other people won't. And so you might not know Lily Orchard, and you might not know her terrible fucking reputation, and so now you, as a large subsection of people going in, you're like, hey, did you ever hear about Anthony Gramuglia? No, I never heard about him. Like, oh, apparently this guy is like, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw him in a few recommendations, and I don't know, maybe he kind of seems like he fits the bill. I'm going to click off. That's the point of this. And that's the kind of damage that it'll cause. Hopefully it doesn't work out like that. And hopefully Lily Orchard's videos are so fucking dog shit when she's trying to slander or libel somebody like that they don't fucking catch on. But that's the real risk here. And that's why you should be against it, even from creators that you like. So if you find somebody that you like, and, you know, maybe they get fucking pissed off, they get a little upsetty spaghetti, they start popping the fuck off, going crazy, okay? You should maybe say like, hey, it feels like you're trying to get, you know, go a little bit crazy, and this feels more slandery and libely than it does like an actual conversation. Like I'm a little worried that you're gonna poison people against trying to have a biased or unbiased opinion and weigh the facts out, and you're just kind of trying to paint this person in the worst possible light. You know what I mean? For what they do. You can make that conversation and get out there. Someone might tell you to go fuck yourself if you do, but it is what it is. But that's the point of the entire thing.
Lily, it'd be really embarrassing if ever you say sourced another article to write a popular video that got millions of views, isn't it? And then admitted to it publicly that you sourced the article without citing it. Wouldn't that be something? And then only years later reference that you sourced the article. But it's not like we have any clips of that, do we?
She lifted some language from it entirely. This whole section right here in her transcript. And she even flashes the article on screen, so I know it's the right one. So,
what the fuck
she did a little summer in there. I know it's the right.
Oh, okay. All these black characters in Zero Dawn, right? All right, I don't know. The title doesn't include your favorite blank awesome show fails on racial lines to a horribly deep degree and nobody cares.
Right one. So, yeah, she did a little Summerton there, didn't she? Just lifted that whole paragraph.
Oh. Pearl's growth in this episode hinged on Pearl's ability to tear apart a large, unrepentant black woman. She sings a damn song about how she can't be strong in a real way until she can take on this big black brute for the love of Bob. I know people live for Steven Universe, but I just can't. I have no idea what's going on in that show, and I'm fine having an arm's length and a half distance from it because I have no idea what's going on here.
So remember in my original react where she said, oh, the language I was using in that section wasn't really mine to use. I mostly took it from an article I sourced. And remember what I had to say to that? I do.
Oh my god.
But the language I used for that segment was beyond inappropriate, mostly taking it from an article I sourced. Some of the words coming out of
An article you sourced? And it's the article's fault you said those words? So you mean you were just like plagiarizing, you were just reading an article and not actually giving your own opinion?
Fucking based side. Yeah, yes. Dude, I love it. The plagiarism apologia, like what people say when they get just caught out is crazy. Because here's the thing, I'll forgive a lot of like incidental plagiarism, especially. That's like even if you do it, like if you have a good reason, like if you have a good reconciliatory attitude towards the plagiarism you did, I will forgive people. Like, because it's hard to know what is and isn't plagiarism. There's clear cut examples of it that you can obviously provide, but between there and all 100% good is a lot of gray area where it's very easy to make mistakes when it comes to things like proper citation and how to change up stuff enough so that it is very clearly not plagiarism. It's easy to plagiarize on accident. It's a very scaled thing that you can do between stealing somebody's entire fucking body of work for one, like a whole article, you know what I mean? And then misciting and missourcing. But the thing is, I just want people like, you can plagiarize once or maybe a couple times. If you apologize and it's like serious and you're like, okay, I didn't do it again, you could make a series of mistakes and fuck up and be forgiven. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking didn't realize that. But all these people, that's the best thing about plagiarists, is they're like, I won't know how to fucking live anymore if I can't do this, because that's how I make things. I do research, and when I have a good vibe on what I read, I just take it and then use it as my own without telling anyone. They're true plagiarists. You know what I mean? They didn't just do plagiarism. They are plagiarists. And their excuses are always wonderful because they always end up literally describing plagiarism in as different words as possible. Like, they had to sit down and do a fucking ad-libs and change out all of the definitional aspects of plagiarism with new shit, because they don't want to be a liar too. You can't be a plagiarist and a liar once you're caught. You got caught, okay? But then you've got to say all of this shit like, well, so what happened was I sourced this article and accidentally took the entirety of it. The article tricked me, it was the article was fucking asking for it, or whatever excuse is. They're just awesome. If you catch me out, I'm going to and I fuck up, let me know. Don't let me accidentally get away with an act of plagiarism. I'll fix the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? Tell me. If I misquote something, if you feel like it's unsourced. There was a time I almost did plagiarize in Starship Troopers because I forgot to add a fucking citation that I had in an area. I just didn't type it in. It's like a big mistake. Small mistake. It's, tick, 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 then it's in there. But without it, that's plagiarism. With the citation, it's not. It's literally just a little chunk at the fucking end of the paragraph, but I just was clicking through it. I think I probably re-edited the paragraph a few times, and then when I was doing that, I clipped off the citation at the end, and then I went back through, and when I was reading, I went, fuck, missed it, put it in there. Okay. Other people can do that, and that's plagiarism, but like, fix it. But those kind of small mistakes are just never what you run into with people like this. And it's just awesome because they're like the 5 terabyte enjoyers of complete, academic non-integrity when it comes to like writing these things out. There's like, I don't know, it's just laying there. Anybody else would have done the same thing. It's like, what are these excuses, dude?
Probably because you didn't actually even watch the full show, I bet. Yeah, is that it? Or you just like saying you saw people like making the reach that Sugilite is somehow racist and then just went with it because it was like the popular hate opinion at the time? Because you're a fucking sheep? Is that it, Lily? I'm getting oddly aggressive right now.
So yeah, it turns out I was right on the fucking money. Back in my very first react to Lily. I was right on the fucking money.
All right, excellent. So you can see right there, I'm not accusing Lily of plagiarism. I'm accusing her of sloppy citation. I'm not going to say you plagiarized. Sai will say you plagiarized, but I won't. Because I think that's beside the point.
Fair enough. You can like that's one of the things too with talking about plagiarism is it's like people don't get this is like I got to make a video on it sometime soon, but people don't get that like yeah it's still plagiarism, but like in the way that theft is theft, plagiarism is an act of theft, right? If you pick up a pack of Wrigley's gum, you know what I mean, and you're like in your head, this actually no fuck it, I'll just tell the whole story. I stole from a store when I was like 12 on accident. I was walking around in the store and I was thinking to myself, and I picked up a Mountain Dew and I just walked out of the store with it on accident. Because I was just like daydreaming in my head, and I didn't realize until I was outside on the sidewalk. Then I awkwardly walked back inside, paid for it, and left again. Because I was like, what the fuck? I stole that. And then I made good on it, right? That's theft. Robbing a bank of $500 million is theft. You know what I mean? They're the same thing. In both cases, you're a thief, but obviously trying to attack somebody at the very, very small level with that very powerful word can like go a little awry, but it's still the same thing. And people just don't talk about plagiarism enough, which is got the double-handed barb. You don't feel like you can call low-level plagiarists because it hurts their fifis too bad, and they're like, fuck, oh God, you've destroyed me, I'm ruined. And because and on top of that, you don't talk about plagiarism enough. The fucking actual plagiarists and shit will just literally plagiarize, and no one knows to accuse them. Or when they do get accused, they can try to hide behind it the same way as like, oh, fucking, I didn't know, and trying to mealy mouth their way out of the basically out of the reconciliatory aspect of, hey man, do you want to fucking not do that?
I also don't want to go side by side and comb through your scripts again, because quite frankly, I have better things to do than watch your videos. I have many videos I want to write on my own. But the reality is simply this. You accuse me of plagiarism. You accuse me of misconduct in a professional environment. And your fans are sending harassing emails to other YouTubers about me. And about other people, and about private Tumblr blogs or smaller Tumblr blogs to what? Intimidate people? I mean, half of that rambling email, again, I don't think it was Lily who sent it, I think it was a fan, but half of that was spent complaining about Courtney, which makes no sense. I confused almost everyone, by the way. That's how they knew it was garbage, because, it's a call-out post about me, but, like, Courtney's the subject? Courtney, your sister? Courtney, Pete? That's the target? Seems strange to me. Of course, you're more than welcome to come here and prove that anything you're saying is true or accurate, but...
This little guy, dude. This little fucking guy is so aggressive. I don't know. That's just having it go, and then he cuts to the thing. He's like, but you can come here if you want. I love him. I like this guy. I like his face. You got a very soothing face, guy. I like your face. I like this guy's face. Check this guy's face out. But I know what you know.
But you and I both know how you are when you're confronted in a debate where you don't have complete control, where you can't yell at your audience for donating through your Twitch channel as opposed to your Ko-Fi or whatever. We both know that you're the kind of person to cower from a discussion immediately.
It's one of the more persistent pieces of fiction that pass around about me, because nothing passes the rounds better than passes the rounds more than trans girl predator.
Right.
And just
Okay.
I just don't talk about it. I don't acknowledge it. I don't give it attention. That's pretty much all it's been.
Okay. Well, I guess at this point, regardless of you v. Courtney, like, I understand, I think there's been some transphobia on the table, and that's not okay. So, as a favor to you, if I reached out to Courtney and got her to apologize for the trans
No,
comments.
no. I do not want you to reach out to Courtney at all.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. I don't feel comfortable with any of this, Lily. I don't feel comfortable with these allegations against you. I just don't. So...
All right, goodbye.
You only argue when you have complete control of who's listening and
Lily
who's
ran.
responding to you in real time. I think that's why you can't stand me. It's not because of any isms or anything like that. You can't stand the fact that you can't control the narrative. I'm not one of your friends. I'm not someone you watched growing up. I'm just someone who said your opinion was wrong, and you just can't handle that, can you? The reality is simply this. You are making
Next time I fall short in my life, I'm going to imagine fucking Anthony Gramuglia's little fucking ranch Sona just staring at me from a corner. You better not do that. I'm like, okay, I'll fucking stop. I do something that I don't really stand behind, and I just turn and it's just looking at me like, do you really stand behind what you've done there? Like, no, I'm sorry, little fucking cartoon Anthony. I'm sorry, little guy. I didn't mean it.
Making accusations. You are making statements. You're saying you believe in fair play. Well, I will issue my fair play to you, Lily. I will push this into legal action because what you are committing is slander. It is simply and basically slander. You are doing this to...
I resent that. When a written record is created, it's libel.
You've done this for years. You've done this to every single critic you've ever had. Well, this time you're dealing with someone who won't be so easily pushed around. So consider this again. If you're going to make accusations about multiple publications over the course of a decade and claim that they did not check their sources to see if the works that they published in their name were plagiarized, you better be able to prove what you say. If you don't, then this is your warning. Knock it off. All right? This is not something you can...
Well, Anthony Gromley, he's one stand-up guy. I saw him the other day. He said, knock it off. I've never seen your content before, but I'm a fan. Knock it off. It's so fun. I fucking love you, dude. Knock it off. Got a Casey Kasem playing the hits over here. I respect this shit. Someone said the world's most intimidating newsie. 100, dude. I support. I stand by Ant.
You can just criticize my work. Say my work sucks. Say my name sounds dumb. I don't give a fuck about that. Quite frankly, I am sick and tired of people condoning your bad behavior because they don't want to say what needs to be said. You are committing a crime. If you continue, you will have to actually face the consequences for your crime. Let's be perfectly frank as well. All of this is just a distraction from the June video. A video that compiles a record of your bad behavior over the course of several years in one easily watched 2.5 hour package. So let's be perfectly frank once again.
Getting closer.
He's
getting fucking closer, man.
The fact that people now know what you did. You are not going to be able to move away or hide it by pointing the finger at critics who are more easily poked at.
Dude, I feel like he's getting me. This little green-eyed bastard's fucking staring at my... I didn't do it. I didn't do it, little ant. Don't get me. He's getting closer. Oh, he's slowly coming closer.
that.
Oh my god.
I find it funny that you're targeting a YouTuber with under 50,000 subs when one with over 300,000 is directly criticizing you. That is because you refuse to actually engage. You choose only to distract. Well, now we're going to keep pushing the bar back against you. We are going to continue to push the spotlight back on the issues that you so desperately want to suppress and hide in the continuing news cycle you think you manage. Well, guess again. You do not.
God damn. Oh, you got her with the fucking... What? Got her with the fucking squeaky hammer at the end. No, that's solid. And also a good move. What the fuck is W Pig TV? I've never even heard of this. That's I auto played from that into solid video. And solid response. I would say only notice, not slander. It's libel, but no one really gives a shit. But if you want to file something, just make sure that you file it. Look under libel laws instead of slander. They'll both be in the defamation subsection, but solid video. And also, this is a very good thing to do, which is to announce to somebody. And I mean, if you want to do this, is like a cease and desist is really what you're doing. When you're proceeding into anything with libel, you want to do this because it really hammers it home. Because really, the injunction against libelous content should be in your mind when you're trying to convince like a jury or a judge to be or to put an end to the continuance of the libel, right? So you want the libel to stop, yes, right? You're not just trying to get some money, no, or like blow this other person's career up. No, I just want the libel to stop. If you do stuff like this, where you present a cease and desist, or go to the next level and provide a legal cease and desist with actual like evidentiary shit, we're filing this legal cease and desist with the court, however that's done, wherever you're from. That is a good way. It's just a pretty typical when I've seen these things play out when I was learning about them in college. Pretty typical way to establish the or to put another kind of pin in the help me out here. The actual malice standard, which is usually the actual malice is the hardest thing to do. Obviously, you can with evidence prove that none of the things that Lily Orchard was saying was true. You can also prove that Lily Orchard was trying to damage your reputation because she sent that letter out to a series of people, which is quite clearly obvious intent, right? She can maybe still say that she was ignorant about it and whatever. This is what kind of nails that home. This video, you lied about this, you lied about that, you lied about this, you lied about that. All of these things are true. You need to stop or I will pursue legal action. Now that you've been informed, you have to understand that proceeding from this point, you are engaging in an act of intentional malicious activity, okay? You are intentionally and maliciously trying to ruin my reputation by libeling me. That is kind of one of the most important, crucial things to do. That's why it's a lol suit a lot of times. Actually, if we go back to Lore Lodge, we're talking about plagiarism again. When Lore Lodge was threatening to sue me and all that sort of stuff, he did one. He's like, he tried to do his little cease and desist. Dude, I was telling the truth. You got to prove that I'm lying. What did I lie about? I said it's plagiarism. It's my opinion that it's plagiarism. It's the definitionary diction of plagiarism. You just did it. If he had actually gone to a lawyer and thrown together a full cease and desist, he would have a way bigger, and it was true, he would have a way bigger fucking platform to stand on. This is good. This is a solid thing. You should warn people before you engage in any sort of tortious activity against them, assuming you're not going to like damage your case by doing it. Like they'll burn records or something. Talk to lawyers. Obviously, don't get legal advice from me, but warning people before you get into tortious activity or trying to find remedy outside the court shows that you're basically operating in good faith and you're not trying to wield the legal system against somebody as a cudgel. That you actually want some sort of remedy for the situation, and you engaged in an attempt to provide remedy for the situation. You engaged in an attempt to allow the other person to know that they were causing harm to you, and you provide evidentiary evidentiary content to support that. There's videos, fucking recordings, letters, fucking pictures of this, that, and the other. A preponderance of evidence for for a video that's only about half an hour long. When you have that giant chunk, you send it to somebody. You can say like, "Hey, this is causing me harm. it is also illegal, or at least it's civilly libelous. How to actually say that is different, but it's civilly libelous. You are causing reputational harm. You are engaging in an act that will cause future reputational harm. I believe that you might even cause me monetary damages going forward. I want you to stop. And if they continue, there's different things that you can do. And if they continue and actually do cause you monetary harm, you probably have a very serious, a very, very, very seriously effective, tool in your tool belt to attack them. This is just something that people should keep in mind. I've been saying it for months. Maybe even actually over a year now, because I've been streaming this long, that YouTube is in a very, very, very precarious position. YouTubers especially, because money's there now. Once upon a time, lawyers didn't give a fuck about YouTube. Why? Because you were suing some fucking asshole that had free time and a camera. Nowadays, there's creators that have hundreds of millions of dollars, or even just tens of thousands of dollars in camera equipment, via vice versa, whatever the hell you want to talk about. And also, the impact of an individual YouTube video goes far, far further than it used to, and is taken much more seriously. YouTube is a place where people get news. It's a place where people inform and educate themselves. So there is a possibility there that when people log on to YouTube, that they're trying to find out the truth about something, and you are telling them the truth in a way that they're going to believe you is the truth, as opposed to 2007 when it was just a fucking Beaver song and porn re-uploads or whatever and what have you. And that's going to be bad, like, for people, because they're not paying attention to it. Particularly large creators, you're probably going to see a lot more lawsuits popping up over the next several years, especially as we get closer into fucking red territory. Fucking red Republican, highly placed Republican individuals do like to try to smash people with frivolous lawsuits regarding libel and stuff. If you actually are lying about them, they might just crush you for the fucking shits and giggles of it, because they're bored or you said something that was particularly hurtful to them. The guy that's about to be the governor, I believe, of West Virginia, is a guy that's engaged in slapsuit activity before. You know what I mean? So he's going to be the governor. If you talk about the governor of West Virginia, he might try to fucking sue you. Keep it in mind that you need to be more and more above board. There's going to be a bunch of people, I think, that are going to start getting in trouble. And I think YouTube, if it gets in trouble for it, it's going to be cracking down a little bit harder. But it's a tenuous circumstance. You can't make people actually behave, but just understand, if you're out there supporting behavior like Lily's, you're setting the platform up for failure, you're setting Lily up for failure, and shit might go fucking real south for you in the future. Also, thank you, Anthony, for hanging out during your own video. I should mention that Lily has made one post about plagiarism immediately after, but she's been quiet about me following the upload of what video she was editing in her stream. T fought Lore Lodge. I knew I liked T for some reason. Oh, yeah. That was like months ago. I called out Lore Lodge for plagiarism. In a video, they got like 2,000 views, and he lost his mind. He went a little crazy. He was in my Discord threatening to sue me. He's like 1 million viewers or some shit. I can't remember. He's got a huge channel, and he was in my Discord threatening to like lol suit me. Like, I've reached out to my lawyer people that I know, and then I found out the lawyers he was talking to was Morgan and Morgan. He was adding Morgan and Morgan, the personal injury firm. He was literally fucking messaging slip and fall auto accident lawyers, workplace compensation lawyers, like, hey, can you weigh in? His own advertiser, can you weigh in on whether or not this guy is breaking, is libeling me? They're like, no, man, we're not gonna say it. What are you asking us? We're a law firm. Don't. You're our client. We're an advertiser for you. Don't ask us to comment legal advice. You fucking idiot. What are you doing? Better Call Saul. Yeah, same sort of stuff. Not to say it's like duplicitous or like they're all bad or anything, but it's a specific type of law. It's a focus. You know what I mean? That's their area. Is there no lawyers at Morgan that could do constitutional law and would take up a libel case? Like, I'm not going to say that, but there's lawyers that specifically do that, and they work other places. The Morgan and Morgan people are like, well, I don't really have time for that, because I could either do the paperwork on 700 slip and fall issues and automotive cases and all these other things over the next few months and make a fuckload of billable hours, or I can I can take on something outside of my focus for somebody that we pay to talk about us. Okay. He's gonna like, okay, how about it? You guys don't pay me for the next one, and I just get like a little representation for free. Is that legal? Like, it's an interesting thing. Kung Fu Kenny voice, you lied. You lied about hand plagiarism. I can't do Kendrick Lamar. You lied about watching Steven Verse. You lied about not being a bigot. My God.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the West Side. Don't forget to subscribe and like.
Y'all gotta keep this stream going. We don't work for free. I can't be cute for free.